Morning, it's Tuesday the 27th of May. Sunshine today. Makes a change. What I'm doing today is I'm doing this army axle, and really I've pressed on with it because we've done these things before, and I'm just going to concentrate on some little bits and pieces. So we've done the diff. That might come out in a later video. I don't know where these are going to get published. But a couple of things to notice about these. This axle has been painted with a product called Glass Shield. It's very, very good product. But I've put the discs already on here. You can see this. There's a new rotors, discs, or whatever you want to call them. And I already fitted the bearings. But this paint is like an epoxy, and it's a bitch to get off. So I had to cover them off again, and I had to use a wire brush with paint stripper on the inside, because the first one I filed. So what I'm trying to say is you couldn't get the disc. You couldn't get the disc on the hub. It just wouldn't go. Fortunately, the customer supplied all new nuts and bolts and things like that, so that's good. So that's ready to go shortly. But today we're going to assemble a swivel hub, and we're going to do it properly. We're going to do it time and time again until you get it right. You can see here all new parts inside. These were pre-assembled. In fact, I think they look like, oh no, these are the original spindles. You want to check here to see if there's any wear on these. They're awfully small. When it came to 300 TDIs, when they wanted to put mag wheels on, they changed the hubs drastically, because they wanted to stop oil getting out onto the nice shiny mag wheels. So like on the earlier 2.5s and things like this, they put the bearings a lot wider apart, which made them a little more stable. But these, they put them ever so close together in order to save some space. So what I'm trying to say is the bearings can spin on here. You want to check that when you do them. Just run your fingers around them. This is a low mileage truck. I haven't got a problem with it. So we've got our housing here. Fortunately, they've cleaned off this face here. They put some tape across it before they painted it. This Glass Shield is very, very good product, but it gets everywhere, and you can see where they've put some tape or masking around here. Also at the bottom I've got a gasket. I've already assembled this one. I took it to bits so you could see how to do it. So what we're going to do first of all, well, we're going to get our balls out. Oops. These are the original swivel balls. I don't think they've got many miles on them. You run your thumb around them, and there's no marks on it. Even though there's a mark here, well, there's not much on with them. So we've got Timkin bearings. We've put Timkins in the top and a Timkin in the bottom. The bearings are identical top and bottom. We haven't got one here with the Railco bush. That's sort of a little bit out of date now. The seal is in the right position, so the spring points towards the axle, towards the differential. It has got paint on here. That's not the end of the world, because we're going to put a gasket on there when we fit this to the car, or to the axle, should I say. What we're going to do is we're going to set this up in the vise. Now, you've seen me do this before with using solder, and we can nip it down to find out the shim. Great, we can do it like that, or we can do some other techniques, who knows. But first of all, we're going to put this swivel together. So what we need is some bolts. Right, so we're going to start to assemble this thing here. I've got some brake cleaner on a cotton wool thing. I'm just going to sort of run that around them threads, because it has got some grease in there. See, we want to take that out. These are really cheap, Amazon again, but you can use cotton wool buds if you want. I mean, we haven't got any. Alright, there. So we'll get rid of that grease on there. We've already put some Loctite on those threads, so we're going to assemble this. This has got a new pin on. Do you know, to be honest, I never take this piece apart. It never needs it. The only reason I take that off is to replace this bracket that usually snaps off. this upright bracket goes towards the inside. So we're going to put our bolts on with Loctite on, and then we're just going to spin them down. We're going to torque them all down all at the same time. So just a little nip. There we go. That's that done. Next, we're going to get our balls out. So, what we need is the bearing here. I'm going to put some more grease on because it's got taken away a little bit. So we're going to put some grease on. There we go. A little bit of paper on there from my bench. And put that bearing on to that pin like that. Now, which way around do these balls go? Well, you can see here, there's more holes at the bottom than at the top. This is the bottom, right? So that's the bottom. So we're going to put that to the bottom like that. The next thing, oh no, wait a minute. Yeah, you've got the bearing in there, that's right, that's what I was looking for that. The next thing, we're just going to temporarily put the pin in. There we go. And we'll put some temporarily bolts in there because we haven't got the right ones yet. In fact, I think I've got some, but we're just going to put them in for now. What's that? That's a 19. Let me go and get a spanner. Right, they're on there just to keep this in place. Alright, we haven't finished with that yet. So the next thing we're going to do is put the seal on. Put some grease in the little groove. There is no need to put any sealer on the inside because if you have a look at this lip here, this is rubberized on here. It's not metal to metal. So we slip that over there, put that on. Next thing, we've got these nice stainless steel rings here. Just give that a bit of a clean up. Right, with that cleaned up, we can put this on. Now this will go only one way. You can turn them around like this, but you can see there's two little notches on here. That notch corresponds with this notch here. So you've got to get it right. And lo and behold, that's it, it's on. Now I'm going to just put this back on with just some temporary screws. Well, temporary screws. I'm going to take them off later and put some Loctite on them, but for now we're just going to feed these in just to keep it in place. I don't fit gaiters on trucks now. You know, they used to have those leather gaiters or rubber. They were more trouble than they're worth. They used to fill up with water and make the swivel balls corrode even quicker. Now, this is the thing we're going to do now. I made this little bracket here, and all I did was I just copied off the gasket and just drilled a couple of holes in here to put these through. I'll do them like this now. So that's going to go onto here, providing it goes through the paint. There we go. And we put this on. Of course, this allows us to do it on the vise, and seeing I do so many of these, I might as well do them here. We've got a spanner now. Right! Now we're ready to do some preloading on this. So we're going to put it in the vise. And we're going to drop this into here. Like that. So this is pretty rough at the moment. But like I said, this is all backed off, hopefully. See, there's one there that's a little bit tight. There we go. Now you've seen me do this before. I'm just going to get a piece of lead solder. We're going to put a ring around inside here. Right, so we're going to take the bolts out. Now the reason why we've taken them in and out and in and out is until we got this ring here on, the ball will move all over the place. So now we just spin them off. There you go, there we just disposable. When we take that off, yeah, it should stay in place. Should. Famous last words. Now again, we don't fill it with grease at this point. So what we're going to do, take a little piece of lead, and we're going to form it into a ring, but this time with a bit of a gap. Now inside here there's a chamfer. You don't want to put the lead into a chamfer. But what we're going to try and aim for on this one is to get the lead on the outside here and leave a little bit of a gap. You know, we're going to put it like that, so we leave a little bit of a gap so it crushes the lead, but it gives us a place to put a feeler gauge in. The top bolts are, I think they're M35s. Now at the moment we're not going to put any top bracket on like this. And be warned, these little brackets here do snap off, so if you want to do it properly you might want to put some weld onto them. Right, we're going to spin them down a bit. And we're going to make sure that that's nice and loose. Then we're going to take our 17mm spanner and just progressively tighten these up against the lead. You can see it's loose. Take that way. We want to start to get some tension on that. You are crushing lead. See, it's getting a bit stiffer. Now it's getting better. So what we want now is one of the handiest tools you can buy is one of these little spring balances, these digital spring balances. They're actually for doing suitcases at airports, I think. But you can measure kilos, pounds and ounces with this. Turn it on. It's in kilos at the moment. Mode, I'm going to do it pounds because these are 14 to 16 pounds. Put it through here, turn the swivel round, pull it. That's on 3 pounds. Keep tightening up progressively. So what's that, about 1/4 of a turn? Put it back on again. Now this is important, make sure it's at 0 all the time. Pull it. £10. See? Just a little bit. Another little 1/8 of a turn. What difference has that made? 12. Now remember, the seal isn't tight yet. Like I said, 14, what was it, 14 to 16 pounds. Let's check that. 14, 15, 16, 17, progressively 17, so that's a little bit, well, it starts off 12, 13. Now I'm going to call it quits at that. It's kind of nice, but now we're going to take this off and measure it. If you remember, there was a gap in here, and I'm just testing it with a feeler gauge. It's what have we got? We've got, well, I've only got 2 together, but these are all stuck up with grease. 18. That's a tight 1/18,000th of an inch, or 0.4457 millimeters. So what we're going to do now is take the pack of assorted shims and try and attain that thickness. Let's see what we can find. So eventually, with the pin tightened down, I managed to find out it was around about 20,000th of an inch in the gap. So I've got 2 shims here that equate to, let me see. Now I'm using thousandths of an inch because it's easier to work out. This earns 23. But what we're going to do now is take this pin out and measure the solder. We put that in so we can get a resistance. I know resistance is futile, but Now, because this is really easy, rather than working under your truck and things like this, because when you do swivel balls, you've got to take the damn things off anyway. You know, you've got to take them off to do a swivel ball. Why not work in the vice squad? That's right. 1.9 and 1.9. So we want 1.9 millimeters. 6.2, that's too short. 8. Can we do a combination of this and get this? This is why I need a good selection of shims. 1.14. I want a thinner one. 9.3. Let's try that. Let's try that at 9.3 and see if we can get it. I don't know. Sometimes you have to play around with it. Sometimes you get it spot on first time. Again, I'm not putting the top bracket on yet. Just spin it down first. And we'll just give them a quick nip. We won't torque them down, just snip them down. What have we got? 8.89. So we need to take, it needs to be a little bit thinner. I wonder if we can get away with taking that very thin shim out. Let's try it. I mean, you can mess about all day doing these things, but sometimes a solder gives you a head start for happiness. Now I should really torque these down, but let's see. We'll just nip it down. Let's go a bit tighter. Right, let's set the 0. Eight. We still need thinner. I wonder. I'm going to get the torque wrench, torque these down. So we're going to set this digital torque wrench to 65. Let's give it a whirl. Make sure it's on 0. 12.5. Ooh, it's close, isn't it? It's so close. And it's nice. Do we want any more? Well, we're here now. Let's try it. Let's see if we can get a bit thinner than this shim. Right, so this shim here was 81. What was our stuff here? 95. You know, I'm just thinking maybe by torquing this down would have been a better idea, so torque it down. So we want something a little bit, see that's showing 70, oh wait a minute, 81. We want round about 79 I would have thought. So we can now start to use combinations and see what we get at 61. We've got some thin ones. I did see some thin ones, didn't I, somewhere? That's too thick. 86. This could take some time. 82. 81. These are all the same. 78. 76, 78. This might be the one. Let's try it. And remember, we haven't tightened up the rear seal yet. Spin them down. naturally the torque wrench will have gone to sleep. The only thing I don't like about this electronic torque wrench is it goes to sleep really quickly. You have to keep resetting it. Right, let's see what 65 brings. Right, this has gone to sleep now. $13.5. We're just outside the range. We want something a bit thinner. Right. Start this up again. $16.3, $16.1, $15. Nice. It is nice. It sounds kind of stiff. See, look, and just by moving it like that, it's dropped down to 13, 14. Let's settle it down. Settle down now. Zero. 13, 14, we've got 14 there. Do you know something? I'm going to quit while I'm ahead on that. So I'm kind of happy with that. What we're going to do now is take these bolts out, pop some Loctite on them, and then put this little bracket on the top. Right then, so we're going to now fit the bracket. The little tang here goes towards the wheel, believe it or not. I've already put some, got some cotton wool buds with the brake cleaner, cleaned up the threads, cleaned up the bolts, and now we're going to put a little bit of Loctite on them. Then fasten it down. There's no washers on this, just whack it down. So we'll run them down with this, and then we're going to tighten this up. Because what we're going to do now is put some Loctite on the threads of those little bolts at the back. You see how easy it is to do it in a vise? All it takes is a little bit of a bracket. And check this one again. There's no lock washers on it, huh? So let's take these bolts out at the back, these little 8mm headed bolts, put some Loctite on them, and then we'll try them again and see what the torque is.